Familiar location. Another day picking up from the already bush patch. White bears. We're stacking them up in the bank. Our most recent contract was Torstals. Very nice. Torstals are used for a lot of things. Most importantly, super combats in which we're going to turn into divines. Now let's see what our next contract's going to be. Some white lilies. I do have a couple of those, but I can't be bothered replanting that right now. What else is there? Lantidimes, nice and easy. We can do that. We already have the patch available. And so as we do a little bit of a farm run, let's figure out what we want to do. Previously, we did a whole bunch of Calphite Queen and a little bit of TOA here and there. I'm probably going to continue sprinkling in the TOA, but I don't think it's going to be like a main grind. I don't think I'm going to be camping that raid all day, every day. Although I am starting to find myself enjoying TOA a little bit, but I'm sure I'm going to change my tune if I actually start doing a whole ton. But one or two raids here and there on occasion isn't too bad. But yeah, moving on to the next grind, I have a few ideas in mind, so I might actually just hop around content a little bit. Now, we've been using a lot of shadow charges lately, being that we've been doing Calphite Queen, and I just went to this patch. What am I doing? Being that we've been doing Calphite Queen and TOA, a lot of shadow charges consumed, and honestly, we might be continuing that trend. Some things I have in mind are going to be a Whisperer, Barrows, and some people might flame me for doing Barrows without the lockpick from Hallowed Sepulchre, but I really don't plan on doing any Sepulchre anytime soon. One day I will, but right now I don't really feel up to it, but I do have a slight itch for Barrows, and again, most of these things are just going to be done for collection logging purposes. We are missing a fair bit of Barrows items, and I don't know if I mentioned Whisper already, but that is also on the list. We're missing the Siren Staff for the Soul Reaper Axe and the Pet. And something that doesn't use the Shadow, actually, that is on my mind is Huey Coddle. And Huey Coddle is actually going to be very useful. We're missing 3 uniques here. The Dragon Hunter Wand and Tome of Earth. The wand I did wish I had when I was doing the Frost Dragons grind when Sailing first came out. And this boss actually is useful for these Huasca seeds for prayer regeneration potions. Those are going to be useful for like more difficult content, especially Inferno if I want to go back in there for a new PB or something, or any future content that we currently just don't know about yet. The thing about Huey Coddle is that I think it's best scaled in a 3-man team. So I don't know. I'm not sure what we're going to do about that just yet. Maybe I'll find some people to do it with, just like I have with TOA, or I could solo it anyways. It's not too big of a deal. Not exactly the most complicated boss, but it could just be a little bit slower. Beyond that, we're also just going to be doing a lot of upkeep related things, as, just been exposed for not having auto weed. Unfortunate. Back at the crafting guild, working on making some prayer potions. Well, the Renar unfinished anyways. I know I can pay for this to get them decanted quickly, but I do get a tiny bit of Herblore EXP from this. It's better than nothing, and I don't mind taking the time to do this. And more importantly, I don't have the GP to afford converting all these undegrimed or grimy herbs, I don't know why I just said it like that, into unfinished potions. So I'd rather do this myself, to be honest. Plus, we're setting up 416 here for the future to where I can take care of these things, and then I can go do other things, or vice versa on the accounts. Speaking of 416 Hero, though, I do need to save a lot of these herbs to do a little bit of mixology on that account, ultimately acquiring the same things I have on here, the Alchemist Amulet as well as the Prescription Goggles. That would be very useful, and then I'll begin training on that account because it's currently still 72 herb lore. A little while ago, we did a solo CM run, and I completely just forgot about the herb lore situation on that account, and I had to make the terrible brews in the raid. Luckily, I was still able to make some, but yeah, they didn't heal for a whole lot. Speaking of 416 Hero, let's check in with what we're doing on this account. Well, first things first, logging in a birdhouse run, and we actually do need the levels on here. We're 93 Hunter, and we finally dipped below the 400k EXP remaining mark. 386k to go, which is still a long ways away. Every birdhouse run we do, the 4 birdhouses, is going to be 4,800 GP. Now, it really adds up quickly if I actually do this on cooldown, which I used to do, but for the last weeks, months now, I've slowed down on this. And, one of the main reasons why is because it's actually really inconvenient for this account to get to Fossil Island still, or anywhere really, despite having this construction cape. As soon as I finish this birdhouse run, let me showcase why. The run is actually a bit of a trek, but alright, so if we teleport to this account's actual POH, there is absolutely nothing in here except 2 bookcases for some reason. What we do every single time is that you can see I have my construction cape set to Relica actually, and that's where for some reason I just put wait for its POH here a long time ago. I think maybe for Dagnaught Kings or something. And yeah, I use this house despite being the fact that I'm 99 construction. Pre 99 construction, it made sense, but now that I am 99 with the cape, I probably should fill out the house on this account. That way I don't have to multi-log all the time. I'm not always doing that. And 2, things are just going to be much quicker. I don't have to do like a multi-step thing where I teleport outside of the POH. Then if I'm logging in for the first time that day, right-click friend's house and type out my own name. Yeah, it's all tedious, right? But yeah, some things like the spellbook swap altar, I'll probably hop into this POH anyways, because I need to go get another Pharaoh Scepter. That's another potential future piece of content that we could be doing. But everything else, I could probably make another jewelry box, no problem. Make another rejuvenation pool, no problem. I think I should have spirit seeds on this account, right? Surely. But yeah, that's on the list of to do, and maybe actually we'll do that right now. I went ahead and slapped on the carpenter's outfit, and Amy saw this would look a lot cooler if I actually had an equipable hammer, but I don't. Anyways though, first things first, let's check if we have any spirit seeds. Surely we do. Let's go ahead and search for it. We have 4 of those. Alright, we're gonna have to turn that into, well, the spirit sapling. That's gonna be needed for the fairy ring spirit tree combo. Basically, I'm going to try and accumulate everything I need that I want to build before I head on into the POH and actually start building. So I need to figure out, honestly, I might just have to pull up the wiki. Unfortunately, the in-game interface here for construction, there's just so many things, right? Rooms, skills, surface, there's just so many different things that things can fall under. The nice thing is you can just left click on them, and then in your chat box it will tell you the resources you need. Gold leaves are probably pretty expensive, right? So yeah, I might need to actually get some GP. But yeah, we're gonna go through the wiki list, and then I'll try to organize things as best as possible. Another thing is, if I do build out the costume room, it's going to help with the not the POH, but the bank situation here a lot. My bank is constantly full on this account all the time, and honestly, there's just a lot of junk in it. Some of the stuff I can definitely get rid of, namely quest items, but some other stuff is just random events. Like I have a whole tab right here filled with random event items. A little bit later now, I had to bust out some GP because it actually costs a fair bit of money just to build these rooms out. Now, we're in build mode right now, and we actually have nothing built. But I did move some stuff around. I got the pet oak house to our right. Doesn't really matter where that is, to be honest. Built a costume room to our north. The Superior Garden, this is where the pool is going to be. And then we don't have Pharaoh Scepter for this altar, but that'll be something we do in the future. And of course, the jewelry box. And then down south of the portal is going to be the Portal Nexus. Right now, I'm just waiting on the mushroom spores to grow in Canifis, and then hopefully we'll be able to build the spirit tree fairing combo here. Already got the spirit sapling though, so we're good to go on that. Over on Wait For It here, we're going to be dumping some stuff into the general store of Martin Thwaite here. Or I guess his lost and found. Interesting. But yeah, I always say I'm down bad on GP, and actually I have a lot of stuff just unprocessed in the bank. So you can see here, we just hover over value for all these things. We have like 82 mil in Onyx Bolts Ease in terms of high out value, and another 16 mil for the regular Onyx Bolts. On top of various other things, we have Onyx Bolt Tips as well, which are worth a fair amount as well. So yeah, I'm going to start dumping some of this in the store here and road hopping. And I'm going to try to go for a good bit here so that we actually have a nice GP stack for once. So earlier I complained about how 416 Heroes Bank is incredibly messy and always full. Well, it's because I've never once bothered to organize it or clean it at any point. Through all the quests and all the various grinds we've done, I've never cleaned it out. Every time my bank is full, I just release a placeholder or two, and it's like a temporary fix, right? Well, take a good look at my inventory that I'm about to reveal, because all of this is a whole ton of GP from Corrupted Gauntlet, from a little bit of Colosseum, I think, from other places I don't even know. Oh, Varlamore Thieving all the way to 99, from 50 to 99. So take a good look at this. An inventory full of noted items. This isn't even everything, by the way. Let's go ahead and look at the value. Dump everything in here. This is 23 mil worth of stuff. And then let's just open up the bank real quick. In this tab, there's like a whole ton of other stuff to do. I think these house keys I could probably trade in or something. There's battle staves still in here, and there might be some other junk elsewhere. I don't know. It's hard to filter through all of this right now, but between the two accounts, we definitely have a lot of stuff to get through. So yeah, let's get started on that. I'm just trading some of it over because I'm just going to do it on wait for it here. And, you know, in a way, this is 416 Hero repaying the favor to wait for it with all the things, all the resources I've invested from the main account into 416 Hero. Little bit of a payback, I suppose. And with dumping everything into the store, it's actually more beneficial the more items I have, because let's say I was only dumping Onyx Bolt Tips. That means I was only selling like 5 Onyx Bolt Tips per world and hopping. But like this, I can just sell like 27 different items into the store and then world hop. So I'm going to get GP a lot quicker this way. We now have over 10 mil in the inventory right now. It's been a long time since I've seen a green cash stack on any of my Ironman accounts. Now, as I continue to work on this, for those people that don't know, the reason why I'm dumping these into the store rather than high alking is, well, this is just much quicker. I don't really value the GP, or not the GP, I do value the GP. I don't really value the magic EXP from high alking these days, you know, being maxed and everything. So it's not important to me. Instead, I just want to get GP quicker with less clicks. And this is a lot less clicks than high alking everything. And think about how long that would take. I have quite literally tens of thousands of items in my inventory right now. So yeah, this is the best way to do it. And certain shops in the game, this one being Exhibit A, actually buys things for you for the high alk price. Now, I'm hopping worlds only selling a couple of things at a time, because obviously with the higher the stock, the less GP Martin is going to offer me. So to mitigate that, I am hopping worlds and selling anywhere between 1 to 5 things at a time. I am losing out on the GP value a little bit here, but it's well worth the trade-off, because again, thousands upon thousands of high alks to go through, that would take forever. All right, we've dumped off most of the items. We still have some of the Onyx bolts and stuff in bulk, obviously. But we now have 27 mil. 27.3. That is the most GP I've had at one time in a long time. And you know what's crazy? If I decide to fully charge my Tumican Shadow right now, most of this GP is probably going to be gone. But we're not using it for the Tumican Shadow. We're going to be using it to build out 416 Heroes player-owned house. The mushrooms I need for the fairy ring are going to take a while. In the meantime, I'm going to work on other things. I just looked myself up. Oops. I'm going to use wait for it here as kind of the errand boy. I'm going to go fetch the supplies needed to build certain things. First things first, we're going to focus on the jewelry box. Building out the POH can be pretty tedious sometimes, because a lot of this stuff requires you to build the base tier item first and then upgrade. So obviously right now we have to do the base jewelry box, and I don't have a hammer, so we're off to a good start here, dang it. Okay, hammer reacquired. Alright, so as I was saying, you know, even though we have the ability to make the ornate jewelry box, we still have to make the basic version first and upgrade it to the fancy, and then ultimately the ornate. I guess for this, it makes a little bit more sense because, you know, you are filling out each thing. So the basic has the Ring of Dueling and the Games of Necklace. The next tier has the Combat Bracelet and the skills. And then finally, Ring of Wealth and Amulet of Glory. So in this context, it makes sense. But for other stuff, not so much when you have to build I think it's one of these things in the costume room. You have to build one at a time, and it's a bit annoying. So we just have to keep an eye out for that. So here we go, upgrading from the basic to the fancy jewelry box. Now one more thing to go. And here we go, one final upgrade on the jewelry box. It is now an ornate version, and we have every TP available here. Absolutely massive. Next thing we're going to focus on is, I suppose, the pool space here. So let's take a look at what we need. Working on the pool, it's been a long time since I did any POH upgrades, so I'm hoping that for these potions that I'm trading on over right now, hopefully in noted form, they're usable, and also some runes and stuff in there. So ideally, we can do this all in one go. Let's find out. Let's head back into the POH, and over here, portal space. Let's go ahead and upgrade. Nope, we have to have them unnoted. That is kind of annoying. A whole lot of unnoting and trading later. Ornate rejuvenation pool. There we have it. Up next, I suppose we'll build the portal nexus, although we don't have all the runes to actually put all the teleports in. We'll just slowly work towards that. Sitting in our inventory is now the supplies for the max portal nexus, but once again, we do have to build one at a time and upgrade it. So let's go ahead and do that. Gilded portal nexus and into the crystalline portal nexus. Now this thing was incredibly expensive, and to top it off, you know, currently we have no teleports in here. But as an example, say we want Varrock in here, that is gonna cost us 1,000 law runes, 1,000 fire runes, 3,000 air runes. Obviously, once you put this in, it's infinite teleports, but 1,000 law runes, that in itself is not that bad. But then you look at Lumbridge, Falador, you know, so on and so forth. The runes are really going to add up. And honestly, I'm not going to bother with that right now. I think I'll just do it as I need it, right? So like next time I want to teleport or something, I'll just be sure to bring the runes. In terms of the altar space, we're not going to worry about this too much just yet. I don't think I'll be spellbook swapping too often on this account. Besides, if I do need to, I'm very close to 99 magic at this point. Maybe a couple of more TOAs and I'll be 99 magic, and we can always just cape swap instead. This will be a future project. I mean, I've already procrastinated building out this POH enough, but at least we have the bare minimum now. I'm not going to completely build out the POH, but we're not done yet. We're still waiting on the mushrooms to grow so that we can plant the fairy ring spirit tree combo down. And then also, I almost forgot about this, but this was actually one of the main things that made us want to build out the POH to begin with, and that's to get the mounted dig site pendant. Now to do that, this is something any other account would have done a long time ago. But I believe I need to first search for the ruby necklace for them to discover it, and then I'll have the ability to convert ruby amulets. Or are they ruby necklaces? Ruby necklaces, yeah. Ruby amulet is going to be strength amulet. Ruby necklaces to make the dig site pendants, and then we'll be able to make a mounted one, I think. I'm pretty sure I need to go through this process. So I'm going to need some gloves and some tools in general, and then let's get started on this. So after some cleaning, I guess I have been here before because some of these display cases are actually filled out, but I don't think I ever found the ruby necklace. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Actually, is there even a way to know for sure? Maybe I should try to enchant a ruby necklace right now just to confirm. Otherwise, I might be wasting my time. Yeah, let's go ahead and check that. Edgefill Furnace, let's go ahead and make this ruby necklace, and then which runes do I need? I never remember. It's Cosmics and something. Cosmics and Fire, okay. So let's get some Cosmics, Fire Staff, and let's go ahead and enchant this. Can we do it? Oh. Wait, hold on. Oh. Well, it's a good thing I confirmed this because I was under the assumption that I never found the necklace prior. So that must have been a long time ago. I have no recollection of it. So yeah, let's go ahead and figure out how to make this mounted dig site pendant. All right, I was able to gather up the supplies pretty quickly. Honestly, the most expensive thing here is 250 rubies, but I mean, I do have those sitting in the bank from our previous crafting grinds. We need, I forgot how many cosmic runes, probably about 100, and we need 500 fire runes, and then a dig site pendant of any charge. So we're going to talk to this curator here, and how do I get a medallion? Yes, exchange my runes, and boom, we got the medallion. And then we're also going to need a gold leaf, in which, well, back to the GE. I can use my own, I say own, I mean, I play both accounts, but I can, oh, my construction cape is still set to Relica. But I can use the newly made ornate jewelry box here. I do have to configure some settings here. All the doors are closed by default, and the house looks pretty janky. We might change the theme, but yeah. We just used the ornate jewelry box in 416 Heroes own POH for the first time, being 99 construction. I'm going to go pick up this gold leaf, and I'm sure I have a mahogany plank either on this account or on the other, and then that's going to be the mounted dig site pendant. With that being made, I'm going to be doing birdhouse runs a lot more often, I think. Back in the POH, let's go ahead and get this mounted dig site pendant. There we go, and then I might even configure it to where left click is going to be Fossil Island, because I'm not really going to be doing anything else on this account for a good while. Definitely not teleporting to the dig site or Liftgren. Okay, so with that being made, let's actually go do a birdhouse run. And here we go, another birdhouse run completed. Now I do want to go back into the POH here, and there are two portal teleports I want to set up right away, actually, because it's going to be pretty actively used on this account. The first being Karen Castle for Slayer, in which, let's see, we're going to need fire and water runes. I mean, everything's going to require long runes. And then the other one is the Arceus Library, and this one is going to require earth runes. So earth, fire, and water. All right, and obviously long runes. So let's go ahead and grab that. Here we go. Let's go ahead and add Karen Castle. And let's go ahead and add the Arceus Library. Very, very expensive. It's going to cost a whole ton of runes. Look at this. 3,000 law runes. That's the thing that hurts the most. And there we have it. We're not quite done with the POH yet, as we're still waiting on the mushrooms to grow so that we can finally get that spirit tree and fairy ring combo. In the meantime, we have some time to just do whatever we want. And briefly, earlier I touched on doing some Barrows. So before I start AKC here, let's take a look at our collection log one more time. As I showcased earlier, we're at KC 414, and we're missing 8 pieces of Barrows armor and weaponry. Honestly, something like having full Guttons would have been a nice quality of life along the account's progression, but we never got that, and I was never too concerned about it, so it's okay. Now we're just going to try and green log it just to green log it. With our setup here, we do have Max Mage, and previously this would be the Tunic and Shadow, but I guess Eye of Ayak is maybe, I don't know if it's better per se, but probably just more cost efficient, I don't know. And then we also do have like a little switch to deal with Carols or Arams. So yeah, let's just get to it. I believe off the top of my head, drop rate, we can expect to see a unique every 16 KC or so, something like that, maybe a little less than that. And obviously, we are going to be doing all 6 Barrows bosses, and then we're going to get the necessary potential. I don't know, I don't quite remember the exact percentage that we're going to end up at, but what I do know is that we fight 2 skeletons and then one of those bloodworm thingy-majiggies, so yeah, let's go ahead and do that. First Barrows KC on any account in who knows how long. No unique. You know what? Blood runes and death runes are always nice. And those chaos runes for our shadow. Chest number 2. Guthin's chain skirt. Is that a dupe? That might be a dupe. Yeah, actually, I have pop-ups. That's a dupe. But we get an item. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Guthin's chain skirt. I had just been talking about Guttins, for example, and we're missing the body and the war spear. That is our 3rd chain skirt, unfortunately, and I don't actually know why my collection log is like this. As a side note, like for example, you can see that the Carol's leather top here is kind of cut off. Same thing with the Aram's robe skirt on the edge of the collection log. And it's actually misaligned because I think for anybody else looking at their collection log, the Aram set, like each set would actually be properly lined up in a column. But I don't know if it's like the resolution of my game or something that throws this off. But yeah, just a little janky there. Can we go to back-to-back? Unfortunately not. Now that I'm in the middle of the Barrows grind, I actually do recall when the last time I did any Barrows was. There was a clan event, a power hour during a bingo event, if you will, where each team did Barrows for 1 hour and tried to see how many items they could get. And I remember being really sad because I ended up with 0 items. So yeah, that was the last time I did any Barrows, and it checks out, considering I didn't see any items that entire duration, that I do end up with a drop pretty early into our grind right here. You know, I'm not really sure if I like using the IEC over the Shadow. Oftentimes the Shadow most likely just 2 hits these bosses, so maybe I'll go back to doing that. For Arams though, this is where I dump my claw specs, very satisfying. Oh, there we go. I didn't do too much more Barrows. I ended up doing a little bit of the top, got an Avernic split, so nice little GP there. Yo! Wait, where's my team? There's a purple! Oh, it's frogs! It's not a collection log though. Maybe they still need one though. But it's time to harvest these mushrooms. I think these are the right mushrooms, right? Yeah, I think they are. And just in case, I actually did plant this on both accounts. I'm not sure how many of these we're gonna get, but I know I do need 10. And we managed to get 6 here, so let's hop on over to wait for it. And hopefully we get 4, right? Hopefully. I think I do have a few sitting in the bank. Okay, let's enter the correct fairy ring code here. CKS to Canifus and Moment of Truth. Alright, we're good to go. We just need a couple of mushrooms from this patch. We're gonna have more than enough. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and trade these mushrooms directly to 416 Hero. We even got a Hespori seed out of that. In Zenaris, we're going to trade Fairy Fix-It for a Fairy Enchantment. So 10 mushrooms, the enchantment, and we got to hit the bank real quick. Let's just run over there. We're going to grab the Spirit Sapling from way earlier ago, and we should be good to make it in our POH. Here we go. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. Very carefully here. We don't want to build just a spirit tree or just a fairy ring. We want the spirit tree and fairy ring. Well, that was a little anticlimactic. You need a watering can with water. You know, that does kind of make sense. Yeah. 1 second. I swear when it comes to construction, I'm always forgetting something. But here we go. No issues there. A little bit of farming and construction EXP. We now have access to all the teleports in our POH. All the relevant ones anyways. Obviously, we got to fill out the portal nexus. But, you know, it's there. We can put every teleport there is to offer. And we're missing some stuff like the Wilderness Obelisk, which, to be honest, I don't even have on wait for it on the other POH. It's very, very niche. I don't have much use for it. So for all intents and purposes, we're pretty much done with the POH, I think. All that's missing is the altar space. And everything else, you know, we'll get around to eventually. I'm just going to continue procrastinating that. Yes, so satisfying. Not even logged in on the other account right now, and I can just easily get to Fossil Island. Well, time for another birdhouse run, and that's going to do it for now. A lot of progress being made. Finally got the POH set up, which is long, long overdue. We did start on the Barrows grind, although obviously we didn't do much KC. And like I said earlier, we're probably going to hop around different pieces of content a little bit and not really stick to one thing as much. We're still going to be doing some TOA. Honestly, I'm very undecided on the TOA. On one hand, it would be very beneficial to do it on 416 Hero to get the gems to set up a potential 500. I do want to emphasize potential because I don't know if I'm entirely up to it just yet. It is going to be a bit of a challenge for sure. But either way, I do eventually want that full Missouri set, in which right now we need the chest piece and the mask. So whether we do it on 416 Hero or on Wait For It, we're going to be doing some more TOA in the future, as well as other grinds. I'll catch you guys on the next video.